Hey everybody, it is Kendell Lenice, the Remix Coach, and welcome to Shine with Kendell Lenice. This is a life podcast, and we are in our 11th season. Yeah. So thank you everybody who continues to roll with me. I appreciate you tremendously. This is a podcast for the podcasters, if you will, because it's a life podcast. And no matter what you're doing, you are experiencing life. So I'm so excited today to have my guest with me on Shine with Kendell Lenice. It is podcaster and author Lopaze, and I want to make it Lasane. And did I say it right?
You got it.
Okay. I want to make sure. So I had the pleasure of being on his podcast, and we talked a little bit about my career, and we talked about current events as well as touch on dating. And because this is what he does, he's a relationship expert. That's what I'm going to call him. If you listen to his podcast, they talk about some things. So his opinion is very open. And even he told me here, said we can talk about anything. So today's topic is going to be what men really are looking for. And we're going to talk about online dating. Welcome to Shine with Kendell Lenice.
I'm happy to be here. I've been looking forward to it.
Yes, yes, yes. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, he is mad chill. He's like really, really chill. Even when he was interviewing me, he wasn't all hype. He was like, yeah. And you guys have to look at that episode of his podcast, but he's real chill. So I'm gonna try to see if I can get you, Lopaze, a little rambunctious.
Yeah, I like to stay level headed. I don't know. I don't get too high. I don't get too low.
Yeah, yeah. So I want you are a podcaster and an author, and we're going to do it in reverse. Let's talk about that for a moment, and then we're going to get into the subject. Tell the people the name of your book and tell the people the name of your podcast.
The name of my book and the name of my podcast is called Love Can't Wait. And basically, it's about self-love, loving yourself, and having the best relationship you can have with yourself. That way you can have the best relationship with others.
Man,
Yeah.
you see how he just going straight give it to you. Exactly. And that's so important. As a life coach, I often talk about that. Like today, I went, spent the day by myself a part of the day. I went and got some Italian ice. I went for a walk. I went to the park. And if I can't enjoy being around me, then how in the world am I going to expect anybody else to even want to be around me? So I got to be able to love myself and enjoy my time with myself, right?
Yeah, the if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, it's going to be very difficult for you to have relationships with other people. And I think a lot of times we tend to put
For sure.
the cattle before the horse, like some people like to say. We think that somehow we can kind of like leap over taking care of ourselves, and we want to invite other people into our lives to try to make our lives better, and it just doesn't work out like that.
Right. Why do you think people try to get other people to make their lives better and get them to love them when they don't even want to love themselves or don't even know how? Why do you think people try to put the cart before the horse, if you will?
I think a lot of us just don't know. We haven't been taught, and unfortunately, we don't get to pick our parents. A lot of us had bad role models growing up, and we mimic who we saw while we were growing up. A lot of us just don't know no better, and then some of us have been dealt a bad hand in life. Like I said, we don't get to pick our parents. Some of us grew up
Yeah.
in a bad household. It wasn't healthy. Maybe your parents were a little, I don't know, messed up or whatever, or had, and that's just what it was. And a lot of times, as we get older, we don't. A lot of us don't deal with the issues that we might have. We just kind of let it linger, or
Mhm.
just kind of throw it behind us and just keep it moving. That's where a lot of the problems stem from.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, because as parents often say, well, there's no handbook to raise a child, or we do the best that we can. But even I talk about this in my book is you can't even fault your parents because they're dealing with trauma and drama and childhood wounds as well. And each generation is doing that. And that's why it's so important to stop it at some point in some generation and say, listen, somebody needs to get some therapy. Somebody needs to start healing some stuff because it just trickles down. And hopefully, and what I see is that each generation, it gets better and better. But like you said, folks are just trying to figure it out. And then they get into a relationship and think that they are healed or fine. And then relationships are mirrors often of ourselves. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I was growing up, my parents were smart enough to know that they didn't know everything. They couldn't teach me everything. So what they would
Mm-hmm.
do is introduce me to other
Mm-hmm.
people that knew, and and that's when I
Mm-hmm.
realized that it wasn't like they were like neglecting me. They just didn't know. They only knew how it was when they were growing up. They couldn't tell me
Mm-hmm.
what was going on like 2,000 miles away where I was
Yeah.
located at the time. So they would say if they didn't know the answer, they was like, you know what, I know someone that knows the answer. I'll get back to you on that. So that's why they
Wow.
say it takes a village.
Yeah.
It takes a village. You don't know everything. You don't. I mean, people say, "Oh, you fake it till you
Yep.
make it." You don't have to fake it till you make it.
Yep.
There's other people out here.
Right. That's such a oh wow, that's such a wise point. And I commend your parents for saying, you know what? I don't know the answer. I can't let me find somebody in this village who can help you with that. And I think that that's so huge because parents really have to start showing themselves human. And I remember my daughters used to be like, Mom, that's because you're perfect and because you never been. I said, well, honey, when they got older, I said, let me tell y'all some things. And I think it's so important for us to tell our children our human stories and our men and women's stories and not just dads and moms stories, so they can understand when they might hit pitfalls or go through something that their parent has gone through it, or if their parent hasn't, like you said, somebody in the village has gone through and can give words of wisdom um, throughout that child and an adult's life. But I love that about your parents were very progressive in that manner to be able to do that. And did you find that freeing?
Yeah, I mean, well, my parents were always older than the rest of the parents,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
the neighborhood where I grew up at.
Mhm.
Like when I was born, my mom was 41, so she had
Okay.
me. She was like in her 40s, and the rest of the parents were
Mhm.
like in the 20s and the early 30s.
Yeah.
So she would you know my parents were kind of like this. I had older brothers. It's a 15-year gap between my sisters and brothers. So it would be
Mhm.
like this. If I asked for something, if I wanted something, my mom would reach out to my brothers and sisters and see what they would say. And if the majority rule, that's what it's gonna be. It wasn't like
You weren't getting
yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah, I mean they let me experiment and be free and play sports and try different things or whatever, as long as it was positive, and they would support me and get behind it. They never said, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. And looking back on it, I wasn't even sure if they actually knew I could do it or not,
Yeah.
regardless of what it was. But as long as it was positive, it wasn't hurting nobody. I had a lot of freedom. You know.
Yeah. What do you think some baggage what baggage do you think some men bring into relationships?
Well, okay,
From their
assuming that
childhood or from their past?
from childhood. Well, like I said, it depends on how you grew up. Um, like I said, my parents never said I couldn't do anything. You know,
Mhm.
I think a lot of parents. Well, let me tell you what I saw, what I heard when I was growing up. A lot of parents were telling their kids they can't do it. You know, I don't know how you're gonna
Mm,
do it. Money don't grow on trees, and you know all
mm.
these phrases.
You
My
got
parents never.
McDonald's money?
Yeah, my parents never. They never talk like that. I mean,
Yeah, that's
maybe
good.
they talk like that in behind the scenes with just them two or whatever, but they never talk like that in front of me. So I never thought that I couldn't do it. I never had like the lack mentality. You ain't good enough, or you are what they say. You are. I felt like a fraud or imposter syndrome. I never felt any of that.
Mhm.
A lot of people say
Yeah,
that online. I felt like an imposter. I never felt like an imposter. I don't
yeah,
know. I felt like everything I have achieved, I earned it. So I don't know what imposter syndrome
yeah,
is. I don't know what that is.
yeah. That's powerful, actually. When you were dating, are you single, married, engaged? I wanted to wait to ask you on here.
Yeah, I'm married.
Okay. So when you were dating, can you remember that far back?
Yeah. Yeah. When I was married, I was like I would say I was the guy that everybody wanted to be around. Everyone to have a good time. People want to
Okay.
party. You know, I was like and I wasn't self-centered by any means, but I was a guy that people would call,
Mhm.
"Hey, what's going on, man? You know, what are we doing this weekend? Or are you going? When's your next vacation?" I was really that guy. I'm kind of still that guy, but I just got
Yeah.
married and I got older, and as we get older, people don't hang out as much as they used to. You know,
Yeah.
but for
Yeah.
the most part, I'm pretty much the same guy. I just got older, and it's the the crew is smaller. That's about
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, and maturity. So
yeah,
when you were dating, we talked about what kind of baggage men had, and you said it all depends on who raised them,
yeah.
childhood baggage. What kind of baggage did you find women when you were dating on the dating scene? What kind of baggage did you find women to have? What was the common thread in their baggage or their quote unquote issues?
Um, I would say a lot of women were kind of insecure about certain things.
Mhm.
Could be could be their bodies.
Mhm.
Could be from previous relationship they've
Mhm.
had. Some women felt like you know they would blow the relationship because they felt like, well, I'm gonna leave anyway, because the last guy left, or the guy before the
Mm.
last one left, or whatever.
Mm.
So everything. So when things
Mm.
are going well, we're vibing, we spending all this time together. After about 6 to 8 months, all of a sudden, uh, I mean, something weird happens, something out of the blue happens, and I'm caught off guard. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And you're like, well, you know, I'm just, I ain't really feeling this no more. You know, I
Wow.
feel like I need some time the, away or whatever. I'm like, so, once you get down to it, it's usually something that happened in the past, and that's where it really stems from. But then I'm like, at the time, I'm like, what I got to do with what that last guy did? I
Right.
ain't gotta do
Right.
that. And then they might say something like, well, I know you don't got nothing to do with it, but that's just what happened. And I'm afraid of this. And, it's all type of different scenarios that could have happened. But at the end of the day, it's fear based. It's based on fear.
That I mean, you know what? I can totally see that. So you're saying everything is going well within 6 to 8 months. They like, you thinking everything is going towards something, and
Oh,
6 to 8 months before they get hurt or before they feel like you're going to do what the last one did, they call it off and like, yeah, I'm not feeling it, when they were just feeling it and just expressed to the guy that they were feeling it. And then when they get scared, they literally run scared and in the relationship and self-sabotage for the most part. That's what you're saying, right?
yeah, and the families
Mm,
are they
talk
let
about it.
I think a lot of women let their family members get too too involved in their relationships.
Talk about it.
Yeah, I think
Talk about it.
like because you have maybe she has a sister, her sister's saying one thing, she might say, hey, I think your boyfriend is this and that, and I'm like, well, I don't know. First off, I don't know your sister, and I don't. Is she gonna be living with us? So
Right.
and then you got the mom, and if the mom doesn't like you,
Mhm.
it's probably not gonna work. It's because
Yeah.
it's like because I'm dating you and your mom now, so that's not gonna work. So I think a lot of women I've found their families have too much of impact within their
Yeah.
relationships. That's a common one that I ran into over the years.
I totally agree with that, directly and indirectly
Yeah.
involved. Because I remember the first time I got married, I was 20 years old. I was 20 and I was, in college, leaving. I literally left my mom's house and got married, the house I grew up in, got married and went with my ex-husband. And I know at that young age, he got me and my mother, with my mother not even being there, unintentionally, because I didn't have experience in that area. So I was doing things the way she might have been doing things. You know what I mean? And not even knowing, or her view was my view with me not even knowing. Because think about 20 years old, your brain doesn't even fully develop until you're 25. And I'm married at 20, and I'm doing things the way my mom did in the household, or having the view per se that she had, because I didn't even fully walk into my womanhood yet. So I think women can do that directly and indirectly, because I had no clue until I looked back. And I said, and when I looked, at my big age now, I look back, I was like, yeah, I didn't know, So I totally agree with that. And when you talk about self-sabotaging, as a life coach, I speak to clients who do that often in all areas. What do you think that's about? That self-sabotage, not wanting to experience like true happiness. And since we're talking about relationships, true happiness and love in relationships.
I think a lot of people deep down they feel like they don't deserve it. That's what it comes down to. That's
Mm-hmm.
why they self sabotage. That's why they don't break patterns. They they continuously start a new relationship and keep doing the same thing over and over. It might be a different person,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the same habits over and over. And a lot
Talk
of people,
about it.
I think a lot of people feel like they just don't deserve it. They're not enough. I'm probably not gonna, you know, be better off than my parents or whatever. And a lot of people listen to people that haven't had any success in anything. I mean,
Talk about it.
I'm like, because I'd be like, hey, why are you listening to her? I mean, why are you
Talk
listening to
about it.
him? I mean, unless you want to be like them, you seen how they turned out. I mean, so why are you even
Mhm,
listening? I know some women that's
mhm.
in their 40s and 50s. They're still listening to their parents that failed them.
Yep. That's
I mean,
that's so true. Talk about it. You tell it.
and
I
their
told
friends,
y'all he was gonna tell it like it was, like it is, like it shall be.
yeah, and their friends are failing. Their friends haven't had no successful long term relationship ever. So I'm like, why are you listening to them? I mean, what is there something about them that you take seriously? Because I haven't heard it. And I've been around them just as long as you have. So why you even take them serious when it comes to, I'm talking like there's people I know personally. They always have an opinion about everything. But if you really look at their life, their track record, they fail in every category.
Now, do you think it's failing? Like, say somebody failed at work or a relationship or whatever at love. Do you think it's failing, or do you think that they're learning? Well, not the ones you talked about to keep doing the same thing, keep bumping their head and getting stuck on stupid. Not those, but the ones that say, let me fall back a little bit to see where I can move differently. Would you say that it's a failure, or would you say that it's lessons learned? Because I think it depends on how you look at it.
Well, that's great if they're doing that. But these people I'm talking about, they're not doing that. they, they haven't changed anything for the past
Yeah.
10, 15, 20 years. It's the same thing over and over again. Now, if you maybe you made a couple mistakes and you failed in the past, but then you like, you fell back and you be like, okay, I'm gonna try to figure this thing out. Great. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm not talking about them people. No, I'm talking about the people that continuously fail, self-sabotage. They always always have an opinion. They always got the answers for your problem, but they don't got the answer for theirs.
Oh gosh. Because I think people learn a little bit and they try to do the best that they can. And maybe they're trying to prevent the other people from going down the path that they went. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But we talk about what men want in the dating game. Like, what are you seeing? What do men want? Us women have some idea, or we talk to certain men. Each man seems to want something different, but some want pretty much the same. What kind of common threads do you see when it comes to what men want when they're dating? Because I'm seeing some things and I'm hearing some things, but I want to hear from a man.
I mean, well, it depends on what type of guy you're talking about. Depends on what he's into. And the reason why I say that, if he's a entertainer or a working class guy or a guy that's just, kind of well off, it's going to vary. But at the end of the day, guys want respect from a woman. They want mutual respect. They want a woman to make their life easier in some type of way. Some people say a partnership or whatever, whatever you want to call it. But they want the woman, when their friends look at them, they want their friends to be like, she's the one, man. They guys, we want that. We want a woman to make us look good in front of our peers. We might not say it, but every guy wants that. They want that. That you can call it validation, whatever. But every guy wants that. It's like being on a red carpet, and you see her like, that's Denzel Washington's wife. You see her, man. Man, she still look good, and she's what 77 years old, whatever. Right?
Shout out to Pauletta Washington.
we like that. We like that type of stuff.
That's so. See, women pay attention, and men, if you're watching it live or the playback, let us know. What do you think in the chat, whether it's, like I said, live or playback, whenever you're watching this? Because I'm not a man, but I think that you are on to something. I must agree with you, but I've never heard it put that way. So I'm glad that you did. So you're saying even if a man doesn't say it, but he wants someone who he could be proud of. Is it about the looks? Is it about the whole package? What is it where you want your man to be like, you done, your friend to be like, man, you done good?
Yeah, it's about the whole package. A guy wants to feel like I'm the top dog out of all my buddies. It might not necessarily be true, but he wants to feel like, I got a bad. She's bad, Now, like, there's some guys that go over the board and keep telling, hey man, you got a good looking woman. Like, yeah, how many times are you gonna say that, bro? Some guys go overboard, but we like that secretly, And then the last thing is, a guy wants a woman that that's probably haven't done anything with anybody else that she done with him. That's the
Like, you
last.
talking about intimately, sexually, you
Yeah,
talking about that?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Is that hard to find? Because some people might have the same rhythm doing the same thing.
That's going to come down to what type of guy you are, and how a woman
Mm,
sees you. You know,
mhm,
her perception of you. That's what that's going to come
mhm,
down. Because and the reason why I say that, because just like I know, most women don't treat every guy the same.
mhm.
So that's what it's going to come down to, what type of guy you are and how she sees you, and this is gonna be based on how she was raised,
Mhm,
what
that's
she
true.
saw when she was growing up,
That's true.
and how y'all met, and where
Yeah,
y'all met.
yeah, yeah. Everybody, we're if you're just tuning in right now in the mid show, we're talking to author and podcaster Lopaze. Lopaze, is it Lopaze or Lopaze? I always want to make sure I say it
It's
right.
Lopez.
Oh, it's Lopez. And I
Yeah,
don't know why I was calling. Why didn't you say that earlier? I was like, I thought
that's all
it was
good.
Lopez. You say you don't care. I thought
That's
it
all
was
good.
Lopez, but then I was like, it's not Lopez.
Yeah.
Okay, but you hearing what Lopez says. I'm a stickler for getting people's names right. And I meant to re-ask you to make sure, because I know on your podcast I was saying it right. But did you hear what he said? We're tuning in to Shine with Kendell Lenice right now, already in progress. If you're just picking it up right now, live. In season 11 on Shine with Kendell Lenice, we're focusing on relationships, right? Because I asked you guys, what did you want me to be? What focus did you want me to really hone in on? And you all said relationships. So throughout this whole season, that's what we're doing. So people have been sharing amazing stories. People have been talking about different parts of relationships. And this episode, we are talking about what men really are looking for. And we're going to get into some online dating as well. But you're speaking, Lopez, let me tell you something. I'm going to keep saying your name now, but you're speaking the truth. And a lot of people don't even put it that way. Why do you think that men are really upfront with what they want with women, or are they testing the women to see how they are, to see if they meet within what they want without saying it?
No, most guys can't get away with being honest with women. They can't get away with it because
Mm,
they most of the time they start off one way, and then as the time goes by, 5, 10 years go by, and then they try to switch up, and they be like,
mm,
"Oh, okay, I'm gonna tell the truth now." That's not gonna work,
mm-hmm,
and that's usually when the relationship starts to go down.
mm-hmm,
And most guys, I've found that they don't have the confidence to be honest with women. They feel like, if I be honest with her, she's gonna leave. She wouldn't want to talk to
mm,
me or whatever. And if you don't know somebody, I mean, why are you even thinking like that? You don't know her and she don't
mm,
know you. And they feel like, well, they don't have the confidence to feel like, hey, I can meet somebody else. They don't, a lot of guys are kind of like, they just don't have the confidence and feel like they can be honest with women. It's sad, but it's true.
But you said something that has me thinking about what you said at the top of the show. You said that a lot of women have insecurities. Will you say that a lot of men in that area have insecurities as well? So both
Oh yeah,
people are working with insecurities.
a lot of guys are insecure as well. Yeah, a lot of guys are insecure. But at
Why do you think people don't talk about that often? Like, they'll talk about women being insecure, but they don't often talk about men being insecure. Men are human beings too. So I 100% believe that they are insecure. I have met some insecure men, and I don't see that being less manly. I think that we really need to normalize us just being human beings, and we're really trying to figure it out, both men and women.
Well, there's not a lot of spaces for guys to talk like that in.
Hmm.
Most of the time, if you turn on television, it's talk shows. It's full of women. There's
True.
The View and all these shows. There's so many of them
Mhm.
on the TV today. There's magazines that cater to women. There's not a lot of spaces for guys to voice their opinion. So a lot of guys kind of go along to get along. They'd be like, okay, if that, I guess I'll just do what every other guy is doing, and hopefully things will turn out well. Sometimes it does, sometimes it don't.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, that's real, but that's real. And I totally agree with you. Men need a place to be able to be vulnerable too. These men out here dating, do you think they're vulnerable and they're really looking for love, or what do you think that they're really looking for?
I think there's a lot of guys out here that they're not happy. They
Hmm.
they do the best they can with what they got and whatever situation they might be in.
Hmm.
But if you really was you catch a guy at the bar or someplace like that, you'd be like, even if, and he might have his woman with him. I've
Hmm.
met couples at the bar, and if you talk to the woman, it's like
Hmm.
she's happy. Oh, I'm so happy to be with him. We've been together for 10, 15 years, and when she go to the restroom, you talk to the guy. It's like it's the opposite. It's the opposite of what she just told me. He's like, oh man, I never do it, brother. Never do.
Wait, hold up. So you say, okay, I want people to really catch the people like Kendell. I already caught it. I caught it. But you're saying when the couple is together at the table, the woman is like, oh my, like they say on TikTok, my man, my man, my man. Oh, I love our relationship. It's so amazing. I love him. Mwah, 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 mwah. And the guy is just sitting there. As soon as she get up, he's like, help me, rescue me from this relationship. It's a
Yeah,
mess.
yeah. A lot of guys are kind of like they. I think a lot of guys get to a point where they'll just go along with whatever the woman wants. They'll just go along with it. It doesn't matter what it is either. It doesn't matter what it is. You name it. If whatever makes her happy, he'll go along with it after a certain point, because a lot of guys look at it like, man, I don't want to get a divorce and have to start all over again, and let's just try to keep it going and keep the peace, and I'll just take
Settle.
I'll just settle and try to take care of my needs elsewhere, or something. That's usually a lot of guys are like. I know a lot of guys that are like that,
Mm.
and I know a lot of women that are like that too. So it is it's sad but true, and this is why you have a lot of
Mm.
uh people live alternative lifestyles. That's where a lot of that stuff
Mm.
comes from, because
Mm.
people are not being fulfilled, and they might not necessarily be happy. So and then some people say, well, let's have an open marriage. That's where a lot of that stems from. So it's kind of like they don't want to get a divorce because everything is convenient, and they don't
So
want to
it's
break.
cheaper to keep her. So it's cheaper
Yeah.
to keep her, keep the peace. They don't gotta ruffle the feathers or shake the boat. What they can do is have their lifestyle with cheating and having open relationships and um
Well, if it's open relationship, it ain't no cheating no more.
no. So they're either having you so do you think people are having open relationships because of that, or they're
Oh yeah.
just keeping it quiet and cheating?
Oh, I would say a large percentage of couples, the open relationship stems from them not being happy or fulfilled in some type of way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What if it's the woman's idea?
Most of the
So you
time, it is
think a
a woman's
woman has
idea.
that idea? Oh, okay. So you saying so she can keep her man and let him give him a pass or something?
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I would say in most cases, it's the woman's idea for a variety of reasons. Sometimes
Mhm.
she's just not into the guy like that no more. But she might say, "Oh, he's a
Mhm.
good provider. He's a great guy, or
Yeah.
whatever. I just want to see him happy." Or the guy might might not
Mhm.
be attracted to her like he used to. Or maybe
Mm.
he wasn't ever attracted to the guy. Maybe she just settled. Maybe she just said, "Hey, it wasn't nobody was checking for me
Mhm.
like that, and
Mm.
he was here and wanted to be with me, so she just settled."
I've heard women say that. So Lopez, you talking right because I have heard women say that. I have heard personal people that I know, and I have heard clients say that. Like, well, he was not, I've literally heard someone say this about her husband. Well, he was nice enough and he treated me good. I really wasn't in love with him, but he was nice enough. And I was blown by that, but I can't say I was surprised because I've heard women, say that, or someone's marrying for money or marrying for security or marrying, for citizenship or whatever, right? But they're not really head over heels with the guy.
No.
And I've heard that so many times. And you said because they don't want to be alone, or is it because it's the status quo, being married or having a fiance or dating somebody? You think that nobody wants to say I'm single?
I think a lot of people they don't want to break up. It's convenient to stay together, and shame. Can't forget about that.
And what?
Shame. People don't want.
Shame.
They don't want to be shamed. They don't want.
Mm,
They're afraid of what the parents might think,
mm,
and what the kids might, how the kids might feel. A lot of people they just find other means, another guy, another girl, have a boyfriend on the side, or something,
yeah.
some way, somehow. They're like, hey, we just gotta work it out, because we ain't we ain't getting on. That's like Will Smith and Jada.
I was just getting ready. I was waiting for you to finish your sentence, and
Yeah,
I was going to say that. They were
yeah.
like, they're not getting divorced no matter what they're going through, no matter what it is. They're not doing that. They made a commitment to stay married and be married and go through the ebbs and flows. Now, you have on one hand, some say that's what marriage is about. Like, it's for better or for worse that you stick through the tough times, you do all that. And some might say, well, they need to get a divorce if they're doing, you see it on social media. They need to get a divorce if da 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 da. But I don't think that they do. I think
No.
those are the two people that can determine whether they're going to stay together and they're going to honor their vows. And I don't see anything wrong with that. Some people think, well, he needs to leave her, but it goes both ways. Like, I've read Will Smith's book multiple times. I've read Jada's book multiple times, right? And people think that I love Will Smith. I've read his book a million times, but people think that he is this saint and she's a terror. But she dealt with a lot. And it's not about a point system. Well, he dealt with this, but she dealt with this. If they decided that that's their marriage and they can get through it, like, who is anybody else to say anything different?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you can have any type of relationship you want. You just have to
Mhm,
find that person
mhm.
that's down with it. That's all. I don't. I mean, what other people think about your marriage it shouldn't matter.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So I got the question, and then we're going to go into online dating. I got the question that everybody wants to know. And, they're going around saying black men don't do this, but do all men cheat? That's a question that's been going on since the beginning of time. And I know you married, so you better tread lightly, but keep it real.
No, all guys don't cheat. No, I know some guys that have been faithful to
I
one woman.
agree.
Yeah, I know some guys have been faithful,
I
man.
agree.
There's some guys that should be with one woman, and the reason why I say that because
Hmm.
out in these streets can be a little tricky sometimes, and
How so?
things things ain't fair out here. It can be a little. Sometimes it can be a little dangerous. Just depends on who you're dealing with, and I think some guys don't have enough, if any, street smarts. So I think some guys should be with
Mm-hmm.
one woman. That's like I think some women should be with one guy. You know,
Yeah.
there's some. It's not.
Yeah.
This it's different out here. It ain't the way it used to be
Yeah.
when grandpa and grandma was out here. It's
It's
different out
real in
here.
these streets.
Oh
These
yeah,
streets are dangerous. They're emotionally dangerous, right?
yeah.
So
You
so
don't
let's
real.
talk about let's talk no, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, no, I want you to finish what you were saying.
No, I was gonna say that
I know it's a slight delay.
you, yeah, I was gonna say that you um there's a lot that comes along with dating versus how you know your grandpa and grandma relationship used to be today. It's
Hmm.
different. It's not the same. People are different. People are
Right.
raised different, different environment. So, but at
Yeah.
the end of the day,
Yeah.
there's a lot of guys out here that are faithful.
I agree. I agree. I agree with you. I don't think all men cheat. Some people say, okay, well, do you think that all men have cheated? They might not be a cheater currently, but have all men have they, have they cheated, dibble dabble? And I do believe that all men don't cheat. A lot of women say all men cheat. I remember I was watching Braxton Family Values, Tony Braxton and her sisters and her mom. And if anybody knows the story, the dad cheated on the mom and had a relationship for many years within his marriage. And Miss E, Tony Braxton's mom, was like, all men cheat except Obama.
Um, and that woman seems like
Michelle
a
ain't playing
handful.
that. Right. Michelle is not playing that. He does not want to play with Michelle from Chicago. He don't want none of that smoke. Oh, but I think that people can have healthy relationships, and that's what I promote. Healthy relationships. And I know everybody hasn't had all healthy relationships. I know I have not. But I have had some. And going forward, that's all I'm entertaining is healthy relationships. How do you think people can pursue healthy relationships? And then we're gonna close with online dating.
I think people just have to be honest, as honest as they can be, and you know, get to know the other person, and hopefully y'all be on the same page. And if hopefully it works out. If it doesn't work out, that's fine. It's okay. Y'all just one meant to be together and just move on. You know.
Yeah, I totally agree. Be mature about the situation because both parties, I believe men and women deserve healthy loves and healthy relationships. And like you were saying, going back to the beginning, so many people have so much gook and the waters are murky when it comes to their past or childhood. Like you said, who raised you, all of that matters. What experiences have you had in relationships and or in childhood and then adolescent and then going into relationships. I often say, how was your first experience in a relationship? Because that can be an indicator. And for women, who was the first man who loved you? Was it your father, your grandfather, your uncle? And men the same way. Like, what kind of relationship did you have with your mom? Did you see love? Did she show love? Did she allow you to emote and shed tears? Did your dad allow you? Because some men are cut right as children. They don't know how to be vulnerable because somebody is saying men don't cry and they 7 years old. They're not a man, and that goes trickles into their relationship. All right, let's talk about online dating. Yes or no? Let's talk about it. What you think?
I think online dating is difficult for most people, and I, I, I teach, and I show a lot of guys what I've done and a lot of results that I've done. But online, if you want to meet somebody, online dating is the hardest way to meet
You
people.
think? I think
Oh
it's
yeah,
the easiest. I think it's the easiest. I started online dating when AOL was AOL chat room. I
yeah. I
think
think
that's
it's
the easiest way.
not
Why do
for
you
most,
think it's
not for most
the
people.
hardest?
Not for most people. No,
Talk about
not
it.
for most.
And I do
That's
workshops on it, so people are very leery. I do know that. But tell me why you think it's the hardest.
because there's a lot of wrong information being put out here online that, and everybody's basically saying the same thing.
Mhm.
And P.S. And by the way, I've tried all of that stuff that people talk about.
Mhm.
It didn't work for me.
Mhm.
Let me tell you what worked for me was communication works. And I
Mhm.
had, I have an advantage than most people because I'm a writer. I know what to say. I know how to respond, based on the response that I might get. Like I don't, if you look at my like dating profile, I don't have the best pictures in the world. I can have better pictures, but people will say, "Hey, you should get you a photographer and get the best pictures you have, and you should be smiling and look like you're having fun." It's the same old thing, which is a given, right? But there's a lot of people that have that in their profile and they get no results. And even if they like happen to, get someone to respond to their email, well, they don't know what to say most of the
Yeah.
time. And
Yeah.
once they do, they'll go back and forth for 3 to 6 months, 2 years with somebody online. I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
So you say no. So if you say no, how do people meet someone? If they're out there dating, how does that man find that woman or that woman find that man? And shout out to everybody who has found their forever loves online. There's so many success stories with women finding their Prince Charming and men finding their queen, you know what I mean? And living happily ever after, so to speak, not without issues and problems because we're two people coming together, relationships. But um, what do you tell that person who's like, Lopaze, I don't go out, I don't meet anybody. How can I find my forever person? How can I find my person?
I mean, you don't have to go out, but I would say the easiest way, the best way, in my opinion, is to meet somebody through somebody that you know, like, and trust. That's the easiest and
Mm-hmm.
best way, in my opinion, that I've met people. Somebody that you already know is like a mutual friend.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, when
Mm-hmm.
you get introduced to this person, there's no guard up. There's no there's no bait
Yeah.
and switch. I mean, there's a lot, but if you meet someone online, it's like a filtering process you got to go through. You don't really know if that's the person on the other side of the
Yeah.
computer, But when you meet someone through somebody,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, that's your friend, somebody that y'all hopefully trust, and then, there's no guard up. There's no, you know, basically all you got to do is just show up and just don't say
Yeah.
anything stupid.
So, but you got to trust that person um to be able
Yeah.
to know you and know your taste and to be able to know what you're looking for and like, because ultimately it's the two people. Somebody can play matchmaker or connect, but then the two people have to gel. Right, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, your friend that's doing the introduction, hopefully they know enough about you and the other person. That way they can
Yeah.
make that way they can determine if y'all a good match or not.
Yes. So how did you meet your wife and how did you find your person?
Oh, I was just I got invited to a day party,
Mhm.
and there was a friend of mine that was having it, and I went to the party like, you know, just like a regular bar and grill or whatever.
Mhm.
Probably like 6 in the afternoon or whatever. And
Mhm.
she was on the balcony with a friend, and I just approached her.
Nice. Nice. Was
Basically,
she receptive or was she like, "Who is this?"
No, she
Was she
actually
looking
walked
at you
away.
like this?
No, she actually walked away.
'Cause she was like, Who are you? She was on a balcony like Rapunzel, looking down at you, peasant. Like, who are you?
Yeah. Actually, we joke about this a lot. She actually walked away, and I don't know where she went, but I know I stayed out there for like 5 minutes, and I went to the bar, and she was at the bar, and that's when I said something. I don't remember what I said, and we kind of hit it off, and I ended up leaving, and I got a phone number, and I called her like 2 days later. But that's pretty much how it went.
So how long has it been? When was that?
Man, I was 1999.
Wow. So 25 years ago.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So see, so you were in the old school dating, like you
Yeah.
walk up to somebody and you say, "Can I have your phone number?" and somebody's writing it down on a piece of paper. It's not like, "Give me your phone." You see these young people now, it's like they don't even exchange phone numbers. They just say, "What's your IG?" or "Give me your phone." Like, that's not attractive to somebody say, "Give me your phone," because first of all, I don't want you touching my phone. I don't know where your hands have been. And
Yeah.
who said that I'm just going to give you, you know what I mean? So don't let no grown man try that, because that's not going to work. But that's how young people are doing it now. They're just giving the IGs. And I think it's kind of smart, though. Let's see what you're posting about, what you're talking about before I give you my phone number. Let me give you this public information already and then narrow it down. Back in the day, they were writing your numbers on the piece of paper and handing it, hoping you didn't lose it or memorizing it and all of that. So I think that's pretty awesome. Is there anything as we end that you want to share with the audience about finding that person, online dating, or something that the women need to know men want?
I would say if you're gonna learn, if you want to meet people online, try and find someone that's has been there and done that. It's not it's not really that difficult. Um, I think a lot of the information that people put out online,
Mhm,
people are telling people to do one thing, but they're doing something else in most
mhm.
cases. So, I talk about a lot of that
Yeah.
stuff on my website. I teach. I've been meeting people online since I don't know 15 years now. It's I met singles,
Yep.
couples, groups. It's this.
Mhm.
It's the and I started doing this when for business purposes, and I just took
Yeah.
I applied
Yeah.
the same I applied the same skills I learned in
Mhm.
business to online dating. So if
Wow.
you need any help with that, hey, just check out my website.
Okay, please give your website to the people.
Okay, it's chooseyourrelationships.com. That's
And
chooseyourrelationships.com.
how can people get in touch with you on social media? And is that the website you want them to go to for more information about you?
You can even go to my YouTube channel, it's Love Can't Wait, or go to my website, chooseyourrelationships.com. Everything's there.
All right. All right. Look, I told y'all he was going to keep it all the way real. I really enjoyed you, Lopaze. And I think that you were really right on target with everything that you said. Love can't wait. Before we end, why can't love wait?
Because if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, if you don't love yourself, it's going to be almost impossible to love someone else. That's why love
And
can't
I
wait.
loved it. And I love that we circle back to where we started. That I couldn't have planned that better. Lopaze, you know what? I'm gonna have you on again. Hopefully I'm on your podcast again and we work together with this relationship thing. I know we talked about some things, but I think that this was great. Did you enjoy yourself?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Last question. What brings you joy?
Oh, just spending time with my friends and family.
I love that. Everybody, this is Shine with Kendell Lenice, season 11. We are focusing on relationships. If you're just tuning in to season 11, go back and listen to the stories and the journeys of other people. We had some amazing show, and I say we, me and my audience, had some amazing shows thus far. The season is not over yet. I hope Lopaze broke it down. I said, thanks for the advice. I love the theme and the vibe. Yes, yes, yes. So, all you single folks, all you married folks that want healthy relationships and you want to continue a solid, positive relationship, you all can do it. But both people have to be on one accord. And I'll say it again. And Lopaze said it earlier: communication, communication, communication. Thank you all for tuning in to Shine with Kendell Lenice. Remember, you are a star. Don't allow anyone to dim your shine. Till next time, God bless. Peace. Thank you, Lopaze.
Appreciate it.
Yes. Make sure you support him and follow all that he does.